I did want to start, though, and it's been a massive talking point all week, gentlemen, in relation to the refereeing scandals with David Coote. To add insult to injury, another story has transpired today that's now come out that during preparation for the game and at halftime, David Coote was reportedly trying to arrange a party that would involve narcotics with the referees back at the hotel after the Carabao Cup game between Spurs and Manchester City finished. This is on top of obviously the white powder videos, what he said about Jurgen Klopp. I mean, it feels now like with the help of the media, maybe some dodgy friends, people making some money off these stories, plus maybe even the PGMOL thinking, let's just make it all about this guy. It does feel like this scandal, if you want to call it that, is getting deepens and is getting worse and worse and worse every day with these stories coming out.
It's mad. Like, someone's obviously sat on this stuff. Them videos were old. Like, you could see they were obviously, Klopp was still the manager at the time. So someone sat on this and waited till the right moment to release them, which means, I don't know, there's been a falling out or whatever. But yeah, it's all messy. And like the PGMO, there's been question marks over them. People are going to talk about, you know, how bad the decisions have been and ask questions of saying, is there bias? Which of the questions are right? I think, to me, a lot of that, like a lot of the chat is normal. I'm not surprised. It's like people when you go to work, don't you? And you go, "Oh, my manager's a dickhead. Like, I can't stand him. Like, what a mug." Like, and that's normal. But if that video was ever to come out and they see it at work, you're going to have problems. You know what I mean? So it's more the video. If he wants to do extracurricular activities with his drugs or whatever, that's up to him. Like, I don't get involved in that. But you can't be having videos of you doing that stuff. So it just seems like for him, and then there's these accusations that it was taken. I'm not going to go into it, but there was other stuff that's come out. So it just seems like it's all coming out about this guy at the same time. It almost seems like a calculated campaign or something to take him out.
He pissed off. Because there was someone talking about a sex video that's going to come out, and they're like, stay tuned. And it's the same person that posted the original videos. Someone was out there to get him. I don't know why. I don't know what he did, but he pissed off the wrong person. And it feels like a Netflix show at this point. Like, we're just waiting for the next episode of what's going to be exposed on David.
Yeah, do you remember that show? I think it was on Black Mirror. Do you remember that episode of Black Mirror where a woman's at work and she does some stuff in the day she shouldn't be doing? And then she gets home and Netflix, I think it's Netflix that puts the show out. It's like a show about her life, but it shows all the things she did in private. And it kind of goes viral. And I think Selma Hayek was playing her in the show. And it was sort of this. Did you ever watch that episode? I think it was on Black Mirror. It feels a bit like that. It's like every day something else
news about
is being said. Something new is there. I think you're right, Savvy. Someone's definitely got it in for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for the Premier League right now. I'm not going to lie. You can't have someone like that as one of the main faces of the Premier League. He's not a main face of the Premier League, but for the referees, he is. So it looks bad. It looks really bad. I know he's suspended now, but I don't think this is going to be the end of it. I think there's going to be more.
It could be the end of him, really. And you know, like whatever as long as he hasn't hurt anyone else and he hasn't actually been biased in his job, then I would feel bad for him. Do you know what I mean? I would feel bad for him if he's just done stuff and you know what I mean, he's had a drink and you know he's just talking shit about his job with mates, then and that's what he's getting sacked for. Then I feel bad for him. And if he's doing his little extracurricular activities or whatever and he don't hurt anyone, then I feel bad for him. If there's other accusations, we'll see. But yeah, man, like I said, you've got to be able to look at someone and go, people are going to have managers they don't like. All referees, if a manager like mugs you off every week, do you know what I mean? And talk shit, you're gonna go and think he's an arsehole. But at the end of the day, you're going to still do your job if the things that are in place should be in place. And this is where they should have standardization. Like a manager shouldn't be able to show bias because you should be able to be reviewing their decisions. If a manager consistently gets the wrong decision and they add up then you need to look at it and go, well, look, we've reviewed your performance. Every ref should have a performance review.
Yeah.
You've got this above the threshold of wrong decisions in this past month, say. So we're going to give you a bit more training. We're going to and have meetings with all referees and look at decisions of different referees. What do we think of this? And they can all standardize. It's called standardization, and go, that's a foul. That's not a foul. Well, let's come to a consensus. And you do that. And if there's, actually accountability, doesn't matter. Like, you could hate that team. Like me, I could referee an Arsenal West Ham game. If there's accountability in place, I can't show bias. I can't do these things because I know that my performances are going to be reviewed. So if I gave West Ham a penalty that was nowhere near a penalty, well, someone's going to look at that and go, well, why have you given that? You shouldn't be giving that. And then
I agree.
Keep doing that. You keep making these mistakes, right? You've got to go back to training. You're going to be demoted down to championship, blah, 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 until eventually you've had too many, mate. You just consistently will have to let you go. That's how it should be. And then any biases, you can't, all these refs supporting, what's it that Mike Dean supports, Tranmere Rovers or whatever like that. It's all bollocks. It's all rubbish. Like, have your team just do your job properly.
It's interesting as well because the one thing that's been playing on my mind about it all is, why have the media been so protective? And there have been a few journalists and there's been a few people that have kind of gone down the lines of, he shouldn't be able to do this again. Some of the ex-pro players, but a lot of the kind of main faces, main hosts, they focus more on, well, why was it filmed? Why was it filmed? It just shows another lack of his judgment. That for me isn't the main focus. I also think, it's sad that some people have basically handed their mate in and cashed in on him. That's sad. But again, for someone that has a well-paid job, they're talking about him losing £1 million for losing if he gets dismissed, which means he's got a very well-paid job. Someone that's in the privileged position that he's in. I'm more worried about why he's doing these things. Some people think, it's loads of people do a bit of Charlie at the weekends. Yeah, how many 42-year-olds are filming it? How many 42-year-olds are even filming a video? If I had an issue on a YouTube and I'm sitting there tonight with my brother, with my cousin, the other half, whatever it is, I'm not getting my phone out to record me saying you're idiots. Why would I need to record that? That for me is a weird thing, and it's not getting the focus on. But the media, Mo said something on Wednesday that's been playing on my mind ever since he said it, and it's almost he pulled along the lines of he hopes that there isn't this widespread bias, these grudges, these problems, this general conspiracy, if you want to call it that, in the media, because if there is, it could ruin football. If it turned out for the past 30 years that all the refs openly admit on a consistent basis that they give the wrong decisions on purpose, that they hold grudges, loads of them are off doing white powder parties right straight after games, etc., it brings everything into disrepute. Maybe the reason the mainstream media, Sky, who would lose billions of income if it turned out that every referee was doing what David Coote was, or 50% of them, how could you even have games next weekend until new referees? You couldn't do it. So I was thinking maybe the reason why the media are trying to brush it under the carpet, trying to just say, suspend him, move on, let's get away. Maybe the reason they're going to absolutely crucify this individual is they can make him look horrendous. The PGMOL can suspend and then fire and dismiss, give him a little bit of help as well, send him to rehab, but say, look, we have zero tolerance to this behavior. We'll always help our people, but this is it. He's the only one doing it. We've shown how tough we are, the zero tolerance that we've got, to try and reestablish a little bit of control, and for the public to go, well, look how harshly they come down on everybody. We trust them again now. Well, there's just a little gut feeling, and it's the way the media are protecting them so much. It's the way that the xenophobic element of what he did, for me, has just been almost embarrassingly ignored too much. And there's something about it where I feel, I don't even know if yes, it's people that know him that are selling these videos, but I almost feel, and this is a little bit tinfoil hat, I will admit this, I almost feel like between the TV companies and the PGMOL, they need to massively crucify him, completely throw him under the bus, so that they can look like they're, doing the right thing by getting rid of him. But equally, they can then come out with a statement that says, and this will happen to any referee that we ever get a whisper of doing this type of thing. Everybody says, well, we know they're on they're standing on business here. We trust them because they're doing the right thing. Gary Neville and all these guys say wonderfully handled, horrible situation. All the best of David Coote getting better, but wonderfully done by Howard Webb. And then everybody says great, and then they move on. When maybe still behind the scenes, there's far bigger issues that are going on. The fact that, again, they didn't post Mic'd Up this week. They did the show, and it's on the Premier League website, but it ain't anywhere. The content isn't being pushed. And some of the stuff that was said on there was a madness. Literally, boys, I'm not even lying. Watch my video from earlier. They spoke about why Saliba had to go because it ticked the 4 boxes around why Saliba had to be sent off. And then when they didn't send off Tosin, 2 of the reasons they didn't change it from a yellow card to a red is they said that Jota hadn't controlled the ball yet. But in the Bournemouth one, they said Evan Nilsson is going to go and control the ball, which Jota would have done if he wasn't fouled. And they said that the one for Tosin and Jota was too far from goal, and it was only 1 meter further back than the other one. So, those things are being ignored. Like, why the inconsistencies? Why the problems? All the conversations that have come out about the biases we know referees have had for years. By the way, Gary Neville shared that with us all. All of that's being ignored, and now it's just about snorting some white powder in a hotel room. I sort of feel as though you're starting to reframe this away from where fans want the focus to be. And why, like a magician, why are you so interested in making me look at this hand when actually I want to see what you've got in the other one? That's just, and again, like I've said, maybe I've got a tinfoil hat on here, but something just feels a little bit off to me personally.